Hola mis amigos, we're making Santa's popcorn. For today's recipe, we are going to be using this pretty simple popcorn machine by FOHERE. And if you remember, we just did the pecan pie ice cream using their stand mixer. So this is the same brand, same excellent quality. So we've also done another popcorn machine in the past. This one is smaller, more compact, and actually a lot more simple to use. And what's great about this is that there are only a few pieces, and the top here is also going to serve as our serving bowl, because once we are done popping our corn, what we do is we simply lift the bowl with the popping plate, turn it over, and then we have a serving bowl. Now, of course, today's recipe is going to be a lot more involved, so we're probably not going to serve in this bowl because we're going to be adding a lot of other ingredients, but that is something that you should definitely be aware of. That is a really cool feature. So as you can see, we have our lid, our popping plate, and then the base where the heat comes from. And then we have one button here, which is to turn it on and off. Very simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this nice and rinsed out, and then we are going to go ahead and get started with our recipe. Okay, so I've wiped everything down with a damp paper towel, and now we are ready to start popping. So one thing that they tell you to do is you do not pop it with this black lid on, and it even tells you here, that's what the text is saying, do not pop with the black lid on during the operation. So make sure you take that off. This is only used for when you serve it and you use this as a bowl. So now that that is nice and removed, you can see here we have steam holes on the lid, and we are ready to start popping. So we're gonna remove that. Make sure that your popping plate is nice and snug with the base. And at this point, we are ready to add oil and our kernels. So there is a note here that I want to make. Here is our measuring container for the oil. And you can't read the measurements on here, but it goes up to 30 milliliters, and we are going to use the full 30 milliliters of oil. Now, it also comes with a measuring cup for your kernels. However, and this machine holds up to 180 grams of kernels, by the way. However, this is measured in milliliters. This goes up to 100 milliliters, so I'm not sure why they're measuring in milliliters here instead of grams. I don't know how that's working, but I did fill this up and it ended up weighing about 85 grams or so. So I ended up just using my regular kitchen scale instead of using this because I don't see how that works. So here, after using my kitchen scale, I have about 135 grams of corn kernels here. And again, this machine does hold up to 180, but I don't want to risk overflowing it or anything like that. So we're just gonna go with 135 to start. So I'm going to go ahead and get my oil, and I'm going to be using the same oil that I used in that other video. It's the same brand, which is the At the Movies popcorn oil. If I can get that to focus for us here. There we are. It's the At the Movies popcorn butter flavored popcorn topping. And I'm just going to use their measuring cup and add 30 milliliters. So fill the measuring cup up. And you want to try to distribute your oil evenly. Obviously it's going to be moving around, so it will get taken care of, but do the best you can to get that all added in there. And then we're going to add our kernels also evenly. Also, what I found interesting is that this one does not tell you to preheat at all. So I'm following the instructions here. Now we're gonna put our lid right back on. And we should be good to pop. So I'm going to go ahead and hit our switch to the on position and it should start spinning. And we will be back when we get some popping. We are back and the popping is just beginning. It has been exactly 3 minutes and a few of the kernels have started to pop. So let's see if we can catch some here on camera. There we go. And now the magic is really beginning to happen. And I do want to comment that this is a very quiet machine in general. The popping noise is actually louder than the machine itself. We're starting to near the end of our popping. Ooh, and I'm seeing the lid is kind of moving a little bit. And at this point it's getting a lot quieter, so I don't want to burn the popcorn. We're going to go ahead and turn this off. And that stopped the popping immediately. Wow, that is a really nice machine. So now at this point what we would do is we can go ahead and place our lid back on top. Make sure that it snaps on and is snug. And now, let me just make sure this isn't hot. The handles are not hot to touch, so we're gonna take this, flip it over, and let me just move this out of the way here. And there we are. We have our serving bowl, and we do have a few pieces there that did get burned because probably could have turned it off a little quicker. So I'm just gonna remove those, but for the most part, we got a nice huge bowl of popping corn that you can take this straight to the table and enjoy. But of course, again, we are making a recipe with this, so I'm going to transfer this into another bowl and we are going to proceed with our recipe. So we are back and I ended up with quite a bit more popcorn than I needed. So I went ahead and transferred this into a rectangular Tupperware container so that I can try to work with it here because my bowl was just too small for this. So again, this is 135 grams of kernels that I ended up using, and the machine can apparently hold up to 180 grams. And I feel like I filled it up with this, so I'm not sure about that. But I did remove those few little burnt kernels that were here, and it was much less than a handful. And again, that was just because I turned it off too slowly. So from here, we can add whatever we want to make this nice and festive. So first I'm going to be adding some candy coated chocolate candies, and we all know, you know, the typical name brand for these would be M&M's, but I am using the sugar-free version, and this is from Russell Stover. So we're just trying to keep the carb count as low as we can with this recipe. So by the way, this was 7.5 ounces. This is a 7.5 ounce bag, which ended up to be over 1 cup, just a little over 1 cup. So we're going to get all of that added in. And really you can add whatever crunchy stuff you enjoy. I was going to be crunching up some peppermint and adding that in, so you can do that if you like. I'm really not a big fan of peppermint, especially with popcorn. I don't even really like popcorn like that, and especially sweet popcorn, so I've changed my mind, but I do want to let you guys know that you can do that. I would put a couple candy canes into a Ziploc bag or something, crush it up, throw that in here as well. You can add, what else? Any kind of crunchy candies, pretzels, and whatever else you want to make this festive. I'm also going to be adding some sprinkles to this as well, but we're going to add that a little bit later. So what we're going to do now that we've added our candy or whatever crunchy stuff you want to add, we're just going to, actually I have very clean hands right now, so I'm just going to use my hands and just kind of get this mixed because I'm working with a bowl, a container that, like I said, is just too small. Okay, so the sheer volume of all of this is really causing me to struggle. So what I ultimately ended up doing is I put this back into a bowl, and I still have my Tupperware container here. So I've just been kind of tossing it back and forth between them both and giving it a good shake with the lid on top to get everything nice and mixed. But if you have a really huge bowl, please use it. I have to use 2 containers, but that's fine. So once you've got all of your crunchy stuff added that you want to add and your sweets and all that good stuff, we are going to get some chocolate going. So here I have white chocolate. You can use some dark chocolate as well. It's all about what color and flavor you're going for your Santa's popcorn. So here I have 9 ounces of white chocolate chips. And again, we're trying to stay low carb here as much as we can. So I am using these stevia sweetened chocolate chips by Bake Believe. You can also use Lily's chocolate chips as well, or whatever other low carb ones you want, or just use the full sugar ones, whatever you desire. But I like to switch things out as much as I can, so that is what I am going to be using. So I'm just going to place this in the microwave at 30-second bursts until it is nice and melted, and then we are going to quickly somehow try to figure out how to get all of this coated with this mess that we have here. Hopefully it all works out, and then we will be good to proceed. So I'm going to go ahead and get this nice and melted, and then we will return. We are back with our melted white chocolate, which I have added some vanilla and some butter to get it nice and smooth. And I have split my popcorn mixture between the 2 containers to make it easier to work with. And we're going to quickly just get all of this nice and stirred until everything is coated with that white chocolate. And also in the process, I am adding some holiday sprinkles. I don't have any measurements for that, but really just add what you like until you get that nice color. And you can also add some peanuts if you enjoy, some nice roasted peanuts. I know that's something that tends to go well with popcorn, sort of like the Cracker Jack popcorn. And then once you've got it nice and coated and manageable, we're going to move this over onto some wax paper to harden completely. We are back, and I decided I wanted some more flavor as well as color, so I did go ahead and add some semi-sweet chocolate chips to that as well that I melted down, and those are also low carb as well. So that goes to show how completely versatile this is. So I went ahead and put this onto a cookie sheet with a silicone mat. You can use wax paper or parchment paper if you do not have a silicone mat. And we're just going to let this harden up, let the chocolate get nice and hard again, and then we will be able to break this up. And this recipe works great for those little treat bags, and you can actually give this out for the holidays. So pretty much this is good to go and ready to enjoy as soon as it hardens, and then you can just break it up like bark and serve it into serving sizes that you prefer. Special thanks to FOHERE for sending us this wonderful popcorn machine. And as always, I will have a link in the description box below for you to check this simple and easy machine out for yourselves. Santa's popcorn. Enjoy, and I'll see you at the dinner table.